And welcome back to Car Salvage 101, and today's video is on the 2010 Abarth. You can see it's in a lovely condition, because it's basically my daily run around at the moment. It's pretty much the cheapest car to run. With its little 1.4 engine, fuel economy is about the cheapest of all the cars. Anyway, and to some extent, it is the most fun. Far, compared with like the Giulietta, which I'm also using, I have to swap. If I need to haul things around, I use the Giulietta, and then if I just want to go to and from work, then I'll use this. But now's the time to get rid of it, free up some cash. And so today, for this one, I am going to keep everything as you see, but I'm going to be swapping out the dash back to the old one, and upping the clock again so that the mileage matches, and then we can sort this out. I think, if I'm being honest, it's going back to Copart. I don't really... I appreciate that everyone's going to have their own opinions, and I do welcome in the comments, but I think with this sort of age for an Abarth, there's a few niggly things that I'm not overly happy about. The rear parking sensors are really intermittent, and it is a Cat N as well. I'm not saying that people don't buy Cat Ns, but for an Abarth, so I think it's going to go back to Copart, just so that because also the prices on Copart, to be fair, on Abarths are actually still reasonably high. You're not losing drastic money by putting it through Copart. So today, we are going to swap back to the old dashboard. So let's get cracking on that. So there's a video that God knows how many months ago that I did where I replaced this. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but as you can see, this baby here is what we're taking out, and it's a relatively easy job, he says, and it's actually quite a quick one. So I'm going to crack on and get this sorted. But it's coming out. Okay, so it is out, as you can see. Relatively easy process, I think. It's always quite difficult because you've got various screws in the way, so you've got to pull the steering wheel down, and got to make sure you have the right screwdriver, as in the length and stuff. But yes, right, now to go and put the old one back in. Can't remember how old this was. 2014. So let's go and put the old one back in, and then we have the laptop for the multi ECU scan to do epoxy alignment, to sort out the mileage, and because it's come straight back off the car, so we just got to do the mileage on it. So right, back again in a minute. Right, so the dash is in, and when you turn the ignition on, the clock flashes. Okay, so just gotta go in and set the time, and 14:37, and then we're good to go. We don't need to epoxy align it again. I lie, actually. I've got to adjust the mileage. So other than the mileage, we don't need to do anything else. So we are going to be good to go on this one. And that's one little thing to do. I'm probably just going to take it for a drive. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm just going to take it for a drive just to make sure that everything is okay. And that is one less thing to worry about. The day has come. The Abarth is going. And it's going back to Copart. Don't really know where to start, really. I suppose there's obviously questions from you guys as to why it's going to Copart, you know, things like that. And basically, long story short, is, tell you what, let me open it, because I need to put the V5 in there. Also need to make sure that everything is taken out. I think it is. Right, V5 is in there. Oh. So I'm slightly distracted, bear with me. Okay. So, as you know, earlier in the week I changed back the dash to the old style dash. So, why is it going to Copart? In truth, this is a going to work car, and generally on the whole it's done me pretty well. However, it's not faultless. Probably down to its age and the fact that with other projects I've got going on, I don't really have time to work on it. It runs absolutely fine. There's no issues with it. Turbo's fine, clutch is fine, gearbox is fine, everything is fine on that front. However, I think the MOT shows that the front arms need doing, which is quite common on Fiats. Don't know when they were last replaced. And I think the back is also needing a look at in regards to whether or not it's the beam or whether it's the shockers. I'm not 100% sure. So it creaks a bit. It doesn't particularly ride well over bumps particularly well. You can hear sort of minor rattles. So yeah, things like that need looking at. Also, although I did a video on it, I'm still getting the ABS failure coming up. However, I've diagnosed that happening when it goes over a bump. So as soon as I hit a bump at a low speed, it doesn't happen. When it's probably over 30 to 40 miles an hour and it hits a bump, it throws the error. Now, it throws the hill hold and everything. So we're talking of two reasons behind that. Number one is the earth strap is frayed, and that causes that. Or number two is that one of the wheel sensors is also not playing ball, and that needs replacing. As soon as you turn off the car, leave it, go away, come back, the car is absolutely fine and there's no issues with it. So it's like a temporary fault with a sensor or with the earth strap. And basically, long story short, is I can't really sell it to someone. I could really sell it. I could put it all over the eBay or Facebook saying this has some issues, you know, let's talk about it. But ultimately, if I put it into Copart, then I sort of get away with not having to sort of, I say disclose, but just not having to talk about the issues. But ultimately, if you're buying one of these and you've got the time, then they're all fixable, and you can get a really nice car. The interior is nice. It still looks good. So yeah. So I will be sad to see it go. Yes, okay, it's not the latest generation Abarth, but actually on the whole it still looks pretty decent really for its age. So that is going to go to Newbury. It was meant to be picked up today, but they've not turned up yet. And yeah, so I know what it owes me. We'll see what the auction comes up at, which is going to be sometime next week. And yeah, I think that's it really. Obviously, as I say, everyone's got their own opinions of Copart, for buying and selling. Generally, customer cars go into Copart with faults, but actually, I'm being honest, this car doesn't have any faults that are going to stop you from driving it. It just needs a bit of TLC, I think, and I just don't really have the time. So 88,000 on the clock, and if you have previously looked over my videos, you'll know that this was a stolen recovered from up north where the ignition barrel had been played with, and that was fixed, and then we fixed the front bumper as well. That was put back together again, so, and then we've done some small little mods to it, but yeah, so I think that's going to be it. What I will do is I'll speak to you in about a week's time or so when this is at auction and hopefully going through, and we'll see what it goes for. In the meantime, I'm getting very wet again because it's raining every single day at the moment. So I'll finish this video and we'll cut to in a week's time. So say goodbye. 9 days or something waiting for this auction to come up, and so we're currently at 2,100. I don't expect the bidding to go insane, if I'm being honest. We have, if you take into account all the cars that are going to go ahead, it's probably likely to be probably likely to run, I'd say, around 1 o'clock. But anyway, it's not like you're watching this live. So, yeah, there's no real issues with what they've done. They've taken the photo as per how I left it. It was a very rainy day, so you could see that one side is almost looks clean, although it's just wet, that's all. And then the interior, yeah, looks all good there. Dashboard showing all right. They've turned the lights on, but yeah, and then they've ever so slightly shown where the mark on the bumper was repaired. But otherwise, yeah, so in the additional material, it's got a tyre kit. Very strange, but yeah. So far so good. We will let this run and we will see whether or not this goes into a number of bids. Unfortunately, I won't be here for it, so I'm going to have to try and record this on my phone. So if it cuts in a minute to my phone, then that will be the reason. So yeah, let's see how we get on.
Sold on approval.
So that brings us to the end of this video and the end of the Abarth. It is now gone. It's, I don't know where it is, obviously. However, if you are viewing this and you do happen to own the car, register it in your name, because you've had that car for 2 months and it's still showing as V5 not completed. So you need to get that done as soon as possible. So yeah, so didn't make obviously any money on it. I knew I wasn't going to make money on it. And I said I wasn't overly happy with selling it to someone. I mean, I could sell it to someone and explain all the faults, but in another way I could just put it on Copart and someone will buy that. Generally, if you're going to buy on Copart, you're going to know that it needs some form of repairs done to it. So I think, overall, I think I've lost about £400-500, which in hindsight, given the fact that I ran that for had it for about 6-7 months and ran it for about 4 or 5, it's not too bad in the end. And I was using it as a daily, so I expect sort of the daily cars not to appreciate in value but to depreciate. And I never really bought that car for doing up and selling like the other Fiat 500s and stuff that I do, and the BMWs. So yeah, so cheers to that. But yeah, so as I say, the selling on Copart, that's the second car that I've sold now. The selling on Copart is pretty hassle-free. It's not really a problem. They'll normally call you within a couple of days to arrange a time to collect the car, and yeah, and then it will just appear on the auction site. In this case, that car went onto Copart and it was listed there for nearly 10 days before it actually got to auction. I guess some might look at that as a good thing, that it's, had 10 days worth of people looking at it. But if you want sort of the money relatively quick, yeah, you're looking at 10 days plus the length of time it takes for the person to then pay for the car and then Copart to release the money. Also, because I've got a seller's account on eBay now, because I've got a seller's account on Copart, it means the fees are a lot cheaper. So in all, I think Copart charged about £100 to sell the car. So that's a lot better than the Fiat 500 that I sold that was a wreck, because without the seller's account, the fees were a lot higher. So yeah, so I wasn't overly too down about it, to be honest. Sort of expected it. But that sort of brings us to the end of this video. If you're still watching, a couple of things. Number one is, do you think I should get another Abarth but actually look to try and sell it on and make a profit? If so, what are we talking about? Are we talking the 595 or still keep us around the sort of the Abarth 500? I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on that. And also, if you are still at the end and you haven't already, hit the like button for the video, hit the subscribe button, that's second thing, the bell button so that your phone gets a notification when a video is about to pop up, but normally they're around 9 o'clock every Saturday. And leave a comment about what you think of the car, what you thought about, anything to do with the channel, because all those things just help the channel out a bit. So yeah, I think that's it really for everything. This is now my daily driver, which is the Giulietta. Kind of use it as a bit of a work car / transporting parts and stuff for the minute. until I can work out what I'm doing. Just need to clear out the cars that I've got and work out realistically what I'm going to do sort of long term, because normally I don't drive around the cars that I'm trying to sell. So yeah, and then I will do another video on the Giulietta and go through that as well. When videos start to sort of not get very, good ideas and stuff, then I'll look to do a video on this. So yeah, until next time, don't forget the thumbs up, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.